Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. But you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. We've had a few of these grand finals already happen. We're not quite there yet in the EU PC Open tier. We've got our lower semifinals
Mhm.
here between AFMT and Tread Gaming, two very, very good teams. One console, one PC. Megalas, you ready to get this rolling?
Absolutely. I mean, the EU bracket from here on out should be nothing but amazing matches with, incredible, stories to all of them here as we pull up the bracket. You can sort of see how we got to this point. AFMT had a good upper bracket run, lost that game 5 to Everfrost, and now they're down here doing their best in lower bracket. Meanwhile, Tread, I mean, they go up against Pot Friend round one, who's now sitting in Grand Finals, and Tread decides that they're going to make the most of this lower bracket and simply take down all opponents in their way. Now standing before AFMT, I mean, whichever team moves on to face Everfrost in that loser final, I mean, this is just going to be an amazing match of Overwatch.
Yeah, I cannot agree more. I mean, AFMT, they are the basically the core roster of the already champion short bus back to back in North America. And Tread Gaming, they've got a couple of really, really strong players that are well known. I mean, both these teams are I'm expecting a really, really good game as we get a quick look at our lineups. First up, AFMT, NRG, Akaza on the DPS, Necry's on the tank, and then Ricky and Ryan Guy pulling it up in the back line. This team is ridiculous. One of the best console rosters probably ever assembled here, Megalas.
I mean, yeah, and they proved it literally yesterday, right? With Short Bus winning that NA console sided match, right? But here in EU, it hasn't been, the cakewalk they've expected, especially with teams like Shred Gaming lurking, ready to take AFMT to task here as we take a look at the Tread Gaming lineup, just some names you might even recognize from other levels of pro play. You have Divine and SXJ on that DPS line. Hitori will be your tank because I think Tread's doing collegiate matches, if I'm not mistaken. But then also Captain Prash and Tekuno on that support. And I mean, again, this is a star studded lineup they have here. Captain Prash representing Team India. A lot of OWCS talent here from those main stage events. So really, I mean, this is going to be a massive test for AFMT if they really want to say they can play with the big dogs.
And I actually believe it was AFMT that had the first map pick here as they
Yep.
went a little further in the upper bracket. So their selection is going to be can anybody put some money on it? Let's see. What's the first map?
These
It's
teams are
Nepal,
boring.
guys.
They're boring.
Guys,
They
it's
can only
Nepal.
pick one map.
Guys, it's Nepal. It's Nepal, y'all. um, yeah, it's Nepal, right?
Mhm.
It's that map. I mean, talk about it till your ears bleed. Nepal is just the map that everybody wants to play because it's the one that they know the best, and um, that's really all there is to it. It's a flexible map. It's you can pretty much run whatever you want to run on Nepal for the most part. It's pretty much just yeah, it's Nepal.
Yeah, it's Nepal. I mean, it's no Lee Shong in the pool, so this is what teams have been picking, right? This whole map pool, as we go through the series, you'll realize teams are kind of picking the same maps over and over because, there's like one popular map, maybe two, and then the rest of the map pool, everyone's like, gosh, why would I ever want to play there? But I mean, you know, just looking at all of the points in Nepal, right? You can do some Rhine shenanigans on Village. We got to see a lot of that yesterday. Heading on over to Sanctum, boop kills are always fun. You're probably going to see, Ramatras and Sigmas there trying to take control of those upper high grounds. And then meanwhile, on the Shrine, I mean, it really just kind of comes down to slamming into each other at full force in the middle of the point. Sometimes, cheeky little off angles can be taken by the DPS, but I mean, yeah, we. If you've been watching CGL, if you've been watching Overwatch at any extended period of time, you know you're gonna see on Nepal. So it really comes down to the that mechanical difference between these two squads for that map, and just simply seeing who is actually able to sort of edge out those victories and sort of maybe even take those duels that could win their team fights.
And, it's interesting when you talk about mechanics in a matchup like AFMT and Tread Gaming, right? Because they don't play the game the same.
Mhm.
AFMT, like I said, it's one of the best console teams that ever been, right? NRG and Octopus, one of the craziest DPS runs I've ever seen on a console team. They're playing on controller, and that's just like, wow, it's crazy that a team playing on console, especially because most of these guys are North American, get this far in the PC open bracket in Europe.
Mhm.
I mean that's incredible. And then Tread Gaming, right? They're PC players, right?
Yeah.
And there's some really really good PC players. So I think it's really really awesome whenever we get to see a clash of two really good teams on two different platforms.
Yeah, and I mean it's amazing, that it's called CGL for a reason. The fact that a console team is sitting here in a matchup like this, it shows just how good they really are. As we're about to get started here on the Sanctum, my brain just gave up on me there. Both teams going to be running out with the exact mirror composition, the Ramatra in tow, trying to take a fight here to secure this high ground, and of course having the Tracers and Sojourns to sort of pepper in damage where they can. I think you're going to be looking to both Sojourns to find a cheeky little railgun pick to start this one out.
Tread have taken this pillar side pretty convincingly here. You got to think that AFMT, someone's flanking, and there's three of them back there, and Divine hits a nice shot to trade Akaza out, and with Ryan Guy going down, the pick on the Captain Prash is going to be a little bit less impactful for Tread Gaming as they're going to pick up this first flip here.
Yeah, and, sure, you lose Captain Prash in the wreckage there, but you're able to not only trade it out, but just come out the better in those picks, right? So now AFMT is going to have to slowly sort of retake space on the map as Tread. They've established themselves on the high ground, as well as they're, guarding these flanks really well. You're seeing Captain Prash, as well as I believe it's SXJ, really guarding that Mega Pack room on the left side.
Necry's up, taking a little bit of that pummel damage as Gushe Fan trying to put it out. Now, with Captain Prash going down again, AFMT need to get aggressive, but Divine again gets the trade for Captain Prash onto Akaza. I mean, that's the second fight in a row that's happened. AFMT rotates over to the point of SXJ going to deny the flip. Pulse Bomb out from SXJ, not going to find the target. But with Necry's going down and the Ant Matrix coming out from Tekano, yeah, there's just nothing here that AFMT can do.
Nothing they can do but head back to their spawn rooms here. So they're going to be, picking up some clean little staggers here. And Tread Gaming, they played that really well. Heading into this next fight, though, it is going to be a bit of an old palooza across both of these squads here. I'm expecting this annihilation from Gushui Fan to come out incredibly early because you've got to be able to sort of take that momentum and tempo when you know Necry's does not have it yet online.
Ultimates coming up for this fight, and Divine not going to get up to the overclock because NRG has put an end to the Sojourn. And finally, AFMT have broken through the wall. The Lucio battle goes to Captain Prash here, but the point is going to go to AFMT.
Yeah, and they do it in a pretty clean fashion, right? It's just the overclock invested. Nothing else really needs to be thrown in. AFMT really made that fight work for them here. So now on the re-engage, they're going to have all of those tools finally online and ready to deal with what Tread Gaming is going to do, which is going to be exactly what they just saw, right? Divine's probably going to pop overclock, create some space, and you're going to see these Rams rush forward at each other.
All right, Pulse Bomb came out from Akaza, did not find a target in that back line. Now the pummel arms from Gushui Fan there, but with the sound barrier coming out from Ryan Guy in the face of the overclock, it's not going to be much for Tread Gaming here, but Gushui Fan, she is going to try and turn this fight on its head too. With the annihilation, Tread Gaming rotates over to the point, and without Necry's in this fight, you got to think that AFMT is going to back off here, but Tekano goes down, and NRG comes sliding in to save the day, puts Gushui Fan out there, and hey, that flip goes right back to AFMT.
Yeah, but I mean that was a good flip still for Tread Gaming right now. They're officially in that one fight territory. They just got to win one more and get it done. But easier said than done here. As you're gonna see, both teams with a dueling amplification matrix, as well as Necry still having this annihilation in the back pocket here. It could put so much pressure on the Gushue fan, in this Ramatra mirror that it's gonna be hard for anyone to really create space confidently.
All right, and Matrix is out
Oh!
on both sides, and the cries get sent into the pit by Captain Prash. Sound barrier out from Captain Prash. Just a bit of a celebration there. This contests are going to come through from AFMT. Pulse Bomb from Akaza did not find a target there, and there will be no more touches here for AFMT. Tread Gaming gets the job done on Sanctum.
I mean, yeah, and you could sort of realize that boop from Captain Prash was the catalyst that started it all, right? Removing a Ramatra who was, we saw Necry's was pushed forward, had that annihilation ready to go, but just, wasn't able to deliver it here. As we get a quick peek at the stats, and you could see that NRG is probably begging the rest of the team for help. Obviously, Akaza helping out a little bit on that Tracer, getting the final blows following up on NRG's damage. But really, I mean, nobody else on AFMT really putting up much of a performance there. So they're going to have to step it up here on Village. Going to keep the mirror matchup. Not surprising. Both teams just going to use the Symmetra TP out here. But meeting in the middle once again, it really is going to come down to potentially finding one of these supports early.
Oh, goodness. I just saw from the overhead there that NRG just slid in and gets absolutely punished there by the side of Tread. And there's just, AFMT without Akaza, without NRG, there's just nothing that they could do. As Akaza's still alive. I don't know why I said Akaza, but NRG kind of inted.
Yeah, a little bit too overzealous here. And I think you're noticing that sort of trend with AFMT right now as Ryan Guy gets cleaned up in a bit of a stagger. It just sort of, they're playing like very, very confidently. Like they're going into, some crazy plays, trying to make these hero mechanics work out. Good blinks from XJ to stay on there. But, that overconfidence and that zealousness is being punished, right? Tread Gaming, they know to, punish these mistakes that are being made.
And now it's Necry's that's all alone, trying to stay alive with that Nemesis form up. That's going to fade away here very, very soon. Did grab the Mega Health Pack now as SXJ is going to try and chase Akaza here. The fight going to go, it's very, very even right now as Captain Prash comes in for the assist to take down Akaza. And, AFMT, they're scattered. They don't know where to look.
Yeah, and they're not really making much headway, right? There's not a lot of space being created by Necry's here, who is now playing with a little bit of fear. And, great positioning from Tread Gaming here as another Amplification Matrix dedicated.
Both are out, and Gushue fan gonna pop the annihilation. Gonna find 3 for the trouble, and the flip almost goes through from Akaza trying to push the point, but no good there. Tread Gaming, they're finding all the value. AFMT, none.
Yeah, and again, it's such a difference, in the Ramatras right now, with Gushue fan just being able to do so unbelievably much, holding the space incredibly well, and put that damage in reliably to build these annihilations so much faster than Necry's even, has a chance to. Heading into final fight, it's going to be pretty hard for AFMT to get a safe touch here.
All right. NRG needs to find something with this overclock, but a great job kiting the overclock from Tread. Now it's Divine's turn. The sound barrier going to come out from Ryan Guy, and a little bit later will be Captain Prash's, but oh my goodness, Necry's is just in a corner, shoved into a locker by Tread Gaming. The trades are good right now for AFMT as NRG has decided that this game is not going to be over yet. If he can help it, the touches are desperate for AFMT. And finally, NRG for 4. Akaza cleans up the last one, and NRG decided to take over here.
Yeah, I mean, that was an absolutely dig your heels in, I'm not ready to lose this map yet moment for NRG. It helps when you have your Tracer also peppering in that damage there from Akaza, but really, now that is just the foothold, right? Tread Gaming, they have the time to sort of, weather the storm, right? They can wait for AFMT to use ultimates, let them win a few fights before they really have to engage with everything they've got.
3 ultimates coming up for AFMT, 2 for Tread. Both Nemesis forms have been thrown out by both of the Ramatras here. SXJ and Akaza going at it near the point as AFMT will back up, give up a little bit of space. Ant Matrix is out, and a great job there to try and punish Divine, but the Pulse Bomb stick on it to Necryze is going to find a kill onto Ricky. Now, both of these Ramatras, one has Annihilation, one does not anymore. And Gooseray Fan is the one that does. So, especially with Ryan Guy going down, it just seems like AFMT are on their last foot. NRG is doing everything in his power to keep this game going, but to no avail. Tread Gaming takes Nepal.
Yeah, and for that final fight breakdown, I mean, the only words I have to say is if you're playing ranked, if you're playing quick play, whatever it is, if you are stuck by a Tracer Pulse Bomb, stand still. Don't walk. You will walk into your teammates every single time. Losing the Baptiste was just the catalyst that helped Tread Gaming snowball that fight so well here. As we're getting a look at the stats comparison, I mean, it kind of tells itself, right? Obviously, this is a massive Ramatra difference here. But looking at the stats overall, right, NRG and Akaza really, they were stepping up. They were getting those limbs where they could, right, but they didn't have the space. Their healers were constantly under pressure, and it just created so much, such a pain point for them to try to get through that map. Meanwhile, Tread, they were able to just, dominate, and it was off the back of Gooseray Fan, I feel.
Yeah, I do think a lot of it was that Gooseray Fan, as we get a look at the stats between Gooseray Fan and Necryze, it's night and day. It really, really is. Gooseray Fan, I think pretty easily you could say is the day here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe high noon. Gooseray Fan, 10k damage, 21 elims, 10 final blows, only 2 deaths. I mean, you can see that at least on map number 1 there, Gooseray Fan, or for the record, this is also, you might know them as Hitori. She dominated. She was just the best player on that team, and despite all of the work that NRG and Akaza tried to put in, it just wasn't enough because Gooseray Fan just pummeling.
Yeah, and then holding that space against Necryze, I mean, it's not something easy to do, right? I mean, we just saw how good Necryze can really play yesterday, right? I mean, winning a grand final, but now, you're sort of seeing those little bits of a difference, right? When you're going up against a opponent of this caliber here. So AFMT, they really have their work cut out for them, right? I feel like there's got to be some space creation, some confidence built somewhere besides just your DPS line, right? You need a little bit more space so your supports aren't constantly under pressure, under fire, from the opposition, and it's got to start somewhere.
All right, yeah, and we're going to have AFMT's map selection ready to go. It's going to be Midtown here for map number 2, Megalas.
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking that they're probably going to stick onto the Ramantra, but I know that Necryze is very, very good at a like Doomfist maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Could be a cool shout here on Midtown. A lot of interesting high grounds to play around on the second and third points, but the way that these teams both came out on Nepal, that makes me think that they're just comfortable on the Ramatra, and I think that's where we're going to end up leaning.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to see the Ramatra, but, there are other picks, right? You talked about that dive. It could be, pretty relevant here, getting up onto some of these high grounds, at least on second point, as well as, if you want to necessarily maybe slow the game down and think of it that way, right? You can sort of lean into something like a Sigma, have a little bit more space, be able to do a few more things that way, right? Just sort of holding the space constantly. Why is it always got to be this launcher ball? It's always this one. I don't know which Overwatch dev put this in, but you've created an obsession for every observer in the world. But yeah, I mean, just back to both of these squads, right? It just depends on what they're feeling confident on. And yeah, here on the defense, Necry's on the Sigma. This is what I expect, right? You're not going to be taking that brawl fight against a Ramatra who, no offense, after map 1 clearly looked better. But you slow it down, you put your Sigma shield up, that gives space for NRG to sort of work, find those railguns, and as we have a pause coming through, fun fact.
Yeah, I mean, AFMT yesterday, when they took on Red Team for the console grand finals, this is what they did on Midtown, because they did play Midtown yesterday. They came out on the Sigma on their defense, Ramatra on the attack. So I think that's what's going to happen here, is that AFMT are just going to switch the compositions depending on where in the map they are. Yeah, I think that what you said is a good shout. Trying to space out the Ramatra a little bit with the Sigma is a good plan, because if you don't let Gooshway Fan get all up in your face, she can't punch you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's dealing a lot of damage, and NRG, while he is also doing so much damage, I mean, it's kind of like, the stereotypical thing in Overwatch where it's like, I killed 3 guys. Why didn't we lose the fight? But 3 people were already dead before you killed 3.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of feels what was happening with NRG. So you can try and see that, or you can see that AFMT is probably going to try to back off and let NRG work. Let NRG cook, because I think that's going to be how they are going to win this game if they do.
Yeah, it's your path to success here. As the pause is coming undone, I think somebody had a headset issue or something. But hey, it's all fixed. It's all done now. And yeah, I mean, obviously, it helps that you're no longer taking that Ramatra duel, but it's just a matter of Sigma can create so much space, as well as Sigma is a constant presence, right? You don't have to be, in Sigma's face for Sigma to sort of be able to peel and do a little bit of damage, right? So it can even help with getting some of these supports feeling a little bit safer. Ryan Guy and Ricky both going to be feeling a little bit sounder, knowing they have that Sigma to sort of reach back, fling some hyperspheres with. Meanwhile, Tread Gaming, I mean, they're more than content to just walk through main here. They seem to not have any fear right now.
Gooshway Fan walking around the fire truck, but NRG has already opened up this fight with a great pick onto Tekno. Mm-hmm. Oh, goodness, excuse me. The hypersphere is going to work in the fire station, finding a bit of damage as Gooshway Fan has to walk over, grab the mega health pack. Not enough healing in there to keep them alive otherwise. She's going to try and walk around, pops the Nemesis form, gets a little bit of a speed boost, but there's nobody near her to pummel. So yeah, it's just got to go away for the Ramatra here. And as you see the Tracers going at it there in the backline, SXJ is the one that has to use the recall first. No tick going to come through for Tread Gaming as they keep trying to rotate and get cute around the fire station. The cleanse is out, but SXJ is dead to the hands, or I guess the spheres of Necry's. And finally, Tread Gaming will be put out here to dead. AFMT find their footing.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you needed to see, right? You saw Tekuno after losing their life on the BAP. Goes over to the Kiriko just to be able to get back in, right? And that's still a lot less healing, right? Simply because Tread Gaming, they were caught in the firehouse. There was no way for the Baptiste to really close that distance safely. But AFMT, they're putting up a good defense. The look we wanted to see from them. They have so many ults at their disposal. Really, the only thing hurting AFMT right now would be if they overcommitted into this next fight. Really, only 1 to 2 ults max should be able to get the job done here.
All right. Tread Gaming walking up, knowing that they are at the ultimate disadvantage. The first one going to come out is Ricky's Amplification Matrix. It wards off Tread for a little bit anyway, as Divine is caught out trying to walk through the laundry room. SXJ had to use the recall as Gooshway Fan walks forward, has the Annihilation ready to go. You got to think, wants it real bad. Gonna use the Gravitic Flux, does Necryze, but Necryze cannot bring them to the ground. NRG goes to work, as we have seen so many times in this series already. Divine dead, a trade, and oh my god! A great stick from SXJ, but NRG continues to put bullets through heads. They have to back up, though, unfortunately for AFMT, and Tred Gaming gonna get 1 or 2 ticks here.
1 or 2, potentially all 3, but the Doomfist is going to be back for a quick re-engage here. And it's just going to cause more investment from Tred Gaming to secure point A.
Yep, 90% now. They're going to not quite pull the capture here as Tekuno gets takes a shot there from NRG. You see Gooshway Fan still has the Annihilation, and there will be no more here. 1 minute is all that they had when they captured it. 3 minutes now as we move into streets.
And you're going to see Necryze, you know, I imagine, staying on the Doomfist here purely because it's a comfort pick, not because it's necessarily the most optimal, especially with Divine already being on that Cassidy as they have been the whole time. So it is going to create sort of an interesting situation here as there's going to be a contest for high ground. Both teams want to set their hit scans up here, and that's why it's going to be so hotly contested.
Necryze slams in, puts up the power block. Now the Deadeye from Divine came out to push them back, but not really going to find anything else with it as Captain Prash is bumping Rihanna on the cart. For real. Oh, and hey, hey, Akaza, let a man rock, Akaza. My goodness. Akaza changes targets to try and take down Divine and does so. Now Gooshway Fan with these pummels going to find so much damage, and nobody's on the cart right now, so, you know, AFMT, they're going to get another shot here.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting that, you know, you give away your position on the cart and that's immediately when Akaza goes in, but hey, you know, it is what it is. Heading into the next fight as the cart starts to crest towards the top of that hill, come out of the tunnel here, you're seeing AFMT, they want to find a bit of a re-engage here on the defense with this Doomfist, but it's going to be difficult when there's so much space being held by Tred Gaming right now.
Pulse Bomb came out from SXJ, not going to find the target that it was looking for. I mean, NRG is doing everything in his power to win this game. 0.01 meters left for this point to get captured as you see Ryan Guy just chilling out by the point. NRG. If I'm not mistaken, that's NRG's first death of the map. And the point capture will come through for Tred.
Yeah, and I think you're starting to see the weaknesses of the Doomfist here, right? It's just a matter of anytime you're, you know, jumping in, you're getting a lot of cooldowns forced upon you, including that Cassidy's magnetic grenade, you know, hindering you, making it so none of those movement abilities work. Necryze, it really is rough here trying to create space because, again, you know, if you're able to create space successfully, there's so many times we see NRG get such amazing picks. You know, just sort of play for NRG, give them all the resources, and let him cook.
All right, Akaza putting all the pressure onto Divine, and they're able to dive on it to SXJ, actually, who went up there, but Divine finally does end up going down. Necryze has a get-out-of-jail-free card in the Meteor Strike, but will not need to pull that card. Punches Gooshway Fan through the Mega, or the Health Pack, but not going to mean much there as AFMT finally are going to stand here.
Yeah, and that was a good dive, you know, finally coming out, right? The Doomfist and Tracer finally coordinating onto a target. It ended up being Divine on the Cassidy first here. You know, you're not going to be able to replicate that too successfully again, though, because Divine having the Deadeye online, that's going to just create so much space and pressure here. It's such a lethal ultimate if you don't respect it properly.
All right, Meteor Strike coming out from Necryze, had to get out alive there. Going to come down on the high ground, wait to get healed up. Has the Empowered Punch, and Tekuno is dead, and so is Divine. I mean, a great dive there. Divine had no idea that the Doomfist was waiting in the wings, and the fight going to go over to AFMT one more time here.
Yeah, and Akaza, you know, getting some good cleanup here on the Tracer, as well as, you know, SXJ ended up wasting the Pulse Bomb towards the end of that fight. AFMT, their defense is finally starting to come together here on point 3. They have both support ultimates in their name, as well as Akaza with another Pulse Bomb here. Really could just sort of pick one target and remove them, or just remove them with the raw damage.
Yep, Akaza going to find that pick early. The Immortality Field been used by Tekuno here. Not going to have that anymore as Ricky and Necryze are going to work out here in the back lines. And the points being pushed by, I believe, SXJ. Okay, yeah, Tracer goes down, and they've only got one more shot here for Tred.
Yeah, and AFMT, they didn't really have to invest all too heavy into that fight, so a lot of ultimates for both squads here heading into the final fight. I think the biggest thing you're going to watch out for is NRG. There's going to be a small window before Captain Prash can get this, sound barrier online here. If this overclock can connect onto at least one person before it comes out, it could spell lights out for the attack.
You see, NRG wants something, but everybody is wary of NRG right now. They don't want to give him anything, and the Sojourn is so low thanks to NRG's shots. And yeah, the overclock through the Amp Matrix is going to find Captain Prash. The touch is there. I don't actually see. Okay, it's Ryan Guy over there on part. Gets the touch, and the Annihilation will come out from Gushui Fan. Gonna find a second pick as it fades away. I mean, right now, AFMT have the numbers and the damage output right now, especially with SXJ going down and, Hitori being the last one alive. Tred Gaming will falter at 88.75 meters, and, AFMT came alive there on point 3.
Yeah, but that last fight, it feels very odd because, the meterage wasn't that far for Tred Gaming, right? They were pretty much around the second corner there, barely on that, right? And despite AFMT firmly being in control for that entire overtime fight, they just allowed a lot of free cart progress to happen. So instead of having to worry about one or two turns into point C here, that's pretty much at the very end of the map, just shy of the full completion there for Tred. And that's just going to make it that much harder now for your offense. But I guess if you have confidence in it, as you're looking at the stat line here, Akaza really stepping it up, helping NRG out. Necry's looking a lot better now that it's not this, forced tank mirror, right? You're seeing the Doomfist sort of play in tandem with Akaza, and it's just looking a whole lot better.
Yeah, you look at Necry's, you switch over to the Doomfist to try and get the touch on point A. And it looked a little weak at first, right? It didn't look very good after they capped point A, and Necry decided to stay on the Doomfist. But you get a little bit of momentum underneath you, and Necry started to look so much better. Akaza and NRG and Necry all looked like they shared the same brain cell for that last point of the map. They were always following up on each other's dives, so... the switch has worked out for AFMT, and as we get into their attack, we will see if they can get the job done. But without Akaza in the fight, it's not going to be a super easy one, as AFMT, they're just going to chill out here.
Yeah, and nice little rail, almost removes Divine from the equation, but... yeah, Gushui Fan can really just sort of poke on the Sigma now, right? The AFMT's forced to take the alleyways. They can't stand in the open against what Tred Gaming is running, right? So they have to, take these alleyways, play a behind cover here, but it just allows things like that to happen. Somebody gets caught out.
Yep, and with NRG down, Necry's will follow the Sojourn back into spawn, and Tred Gaming are going to get a quick cleanup here on this fight, and AFMT, they haven't found the weakness yet.
Yeah, and, they realized very quickly, okay, maybe the Doomfist isn't going to work for offense here. Necry's over to the Sigma Mirror now, right? But, Tred Gaming, they're more than happy to take this, right? Gushui Fan, she's currently speedrunning her way to a Gravitic Flux, in case anybody hasn't noticed. About to already have it online, and I don't know if AFMT are really going to be ready for this.
They need to be if they want to have a chance here. Right now, they're just cooped up in the alleyway. They don't know where to go, what to do just yet. Gravitic Flux is out in for Gushui Fan. Still holding on to it here. The longer this goes, the more AFMT is going to be prepared for this ultimate. But the fact that they just keep finding these picks means that, Tred Gaming doesn't even have to worry about that.
Yeah, AFMT, you hit the nail on the head, Fletch. Like, they can't leave the alley. Now being, corralled up to the high ground, just trying to escape with their lives. They're going to fail miserably at that. Tred Gaming is, playing this almost perfectly, corralling them, not allowing them to get an edge in, move anywhere here, it really is going to be off the back of potentially Akaza's Pulse Bomb or a pick from NRG to sort of open up the space and give AFMT a shot to crack this point open.
All right, Accretion is out, but you've got to think they know that Gushwei fan is ready to go, and it will come out. Sound Barrier is the response from Rhine Guy, Deadeye coming in from Divine. Pulse Bomb lands onto Captain Prash. That's the pick that AFMT needs. And they know where this team is at right now as they just await the death of themselves. AFMT not able to get Necry's over to the point. They're going to grab a tick, but not quite any more than that as Akaza finds one more, but it's just not enough.
I mean, that one pick, depending on how quickly everyone can get back into it, right, it could be massive, right, because it was Divine removed. There's no Lucio speed boost. It just means that AFMT, they have to act fast here. They have to get in while they have, this small opening of Divine not maybe being in the best position.
You got to think that Gushwei fan caught out Akaza there on that rotation through the laundry room, but 30 seconds left on the clock is not what you want to see for AFMT rather. The overclock from NRG needs to do something here. The touch is going to come through. Oh, barely avoids the shield bash there of Captain Prash in the rally. Able to get away from it there as you see Divine walking back up the staircase. Point might get another tick here for AFMT. Might not even find anything. 3 seconds now as overtime begins. Captain Prash is going to go down first. This Tracer duel on the point is massive. Whichever one can win has a big job, or a big... just everything is coming out in this last fight. NRG is trying to find something, and NRG and Akaza have found everything. It's 3 versus 4 here on this point, but it's NRG and Akaza, NRG and Akaza, NRG and Akaza left, right, and center in the kill feed.
I mean, there's a reason these guys have their names pretty much plastered around CGL with trophies across multiple leagues, multiple, everything, right? This DPS line is the reason AFMT is here. Don't get me wrong, the rest of these players are good, but it really is just like an absolute deadlift performance that can come out from either of them, right? So to have them both paired together on any team, it really kind of gives them that X factor here. But now heading into the next point, I mean, they're still going to be working against the time bit to try to, make up ground for that overtime.
SXJ forces the recall out of Akaza on the point early. Now that Dynamite gonna force Akaza to back up, go to the supports. Find a little bit of that healing. NRG also building up really close to this overclock. Not going to get a chance to build up to it any further. It will be a big trade by Akaza, however. SXJ going down is big. The Accretion going to come out, not going to find a target, but the Sound Barrier will be enough to keep Necry's up here in this fight. The point will move under the bridge, just about to come out the other side. And as AFMT are just going to back up here.
Yeah, and they choose to back up, get their footing here. Now they're going to be able to sort of seize their way onto this high ground, potentially get a pick on a Gushwei fan, forces Immortality Field.
Now the overclock from NRG forces Tread Gaming to retreat. And you know what? I do not blame them even a little bit. Akaza's Pulse Bomb comes out, does not find a target. The Amp Matrices are also going to come out, but Bob on the high ground is colossal from Divine. Now only 30 seconds remain for AFMT to find any level of success here on point B.
But the issue is, Fletch, the AFMT, they really tap themselves out. The overclock doesn't get anything. The Pulse Bomb goes wide. Ricky's Amplification Matrix finds nothing. They're going to be pushing into a rally from Captain Prash. Both Sigmas are closing in towards that Gravitic Flux, but either of them earning it up is going to have to be in overtime.
You see Akaza there under the bridge trying to get the touch, but NRG has already fallen. The touch is good from Akaza as Divine just keeps an eye on the Baptiste there. Rekiv ends up going down as Akaza is pulling this cart back as much as they can, and there's just nothing else for AFMT to do here but sit there and accept defeat on Midtown Tread Gaming. moves up to 2-0 and match point to move into the lower finals.
I mean, Tread Gaming, I expected this to be a much closer affair, but, there's a reason Tread hasn't dropped a map since coming down to the lower bracket. They've simply 3-0'd all of their opponents, and they're looking to, make that make that a trend here after these first two maps. I mean, AFMT, obviously, you have your DPS line stepping up, but your supports and your tank, they also have to try to level up. I mean, just being absolutely real as we take a look at the stats, there's going to be a clear difference. It starts with Gushwei. It ends with Fan. She's doing so much on so far we've seen, across a few tanks now, right? Anytime Necrise tries to go toe-to-toe, they just aren't able to match what she's putting out.
Yeah, and I mean, NRG and Akaza, as we get a look at our comparison here between Akaza and SXJ, Akaza's doing so much.
Mm-hmm.
It was NRG on the first map, and, they both played well there on Midtown, but it was Akaza on this map that made it as close as it was. Right now, if I'm being frank, I think that the DPS line of AFMT is outplaying the DPS line of Tread, but I mean, in every other way, just mechanically anyway, I think that AFMT are playing better. But in every other way, the game planning, the ultimate usage, everything else is Tread.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very telling right now. But AFMT, their backs against the wall. This is the time to figure something out, right? This is the time to unlock that extra level. You don't want to be done just yet here. And, nobody ever wants to go down in that 3-0 fashion. So I definitely expect there to be some sort of battle back. But it's just, I don't know. Like you said, Tread Gaming right now is just outplaying them pretty much on every single pound-for-pound level besides this DPS duel.
Yeah, so we will cut it to a short break, and when we come back, we will have AFMT's map selection for Flashpoint, and we will see if they can keep themselves alive in the PC EU Open tier. So stick around. This game, I feel like, is going to get hot. All right, welcome back, everybody. Right now, Tread Gaming on match point to move into the lower finals, to move into top 3, and AFMT, they're trying to find an answer, and maybe that answer is the player entering the lineup here for them. It's going to be Dinks coming in for Necryze going into map number 3.
Yeah, I mean, just, toe for toe, something feels a little bit off right now in that tank department, maybe a little bit too much celebration after last night, maybe too much of anything going on. But whatever the case, you have other players on the roster for a reason. You see Dinks trying to step up here, but, it's a very rough situation as we're heading into Servasa. Like you said, Fletch, I mean, it's, you're already down 0-2, right? A reverse sweep is required to keep your season alive here in this bracket. And I mean, you're going up against, Tread Gaming, right? This team is no slouch, right? They have talent from all around the world, multiple regions, multiple OWCS teams, things of that nature. I mean, really, this squad, all in all, they're just so well put together with each other. It really is going to be, hard for any team to take them down.
Yeah, Tread Gaming, they're good, right? Nobody is gonna try and counter that claim. I do feel like AFMT, they've played okay, right? They've looked fine. They've had some weaknesses here and there. I don't know. You just can't win playing okay, though.
Yeah.
You're not gonna win a tournament like this if you're just playing okay. There's some levels to this, right? Where AFMT will beat the living daylights out of 99% of teams on any given day, but Tread Gaming is not one of those 99%, right? There's not a whole lot of teams that could stand up to AFMT like they are, or let alone beat the crap out of them like they are.
Yeah, but there has been highlights, right? Obviously, Energy and Akaza being able to step up, right? And so now with a new tank in the lineup, Ryan Guy and Ricky also probably need to elevate their game a little bit as well. Make sure they're not getting picked out on these off angles or anything of that nature here. But, it's only a matter of time, right? We're going to have to see, especially with Flashpoint, just the nature of the mode. It's going to play incredibly fast. You're more than likely to see Brawl of some caliber, right? Whether it's the Ramatra, the Junker Queen, maybe even a straight Orisa, and, you start entering that tank mismatch. But, yeah, I mean, just overall, there's going to have to be this level up for AFMT, and I think they are capable of it, right? This is a talented console team, possibly the best console team in the world ever assembled, but, right now they've just kind of been coming up, just shy in some of these fights and not able to, fully show what they're capable of.
Yeah, it kind of feels like they get rolling, right? They start off with a pick or two, right? And then it just kind of feels like they forget about the other players sometimes on the enemy team. They move over to the point and whatever, but they've left somebody behind, right? And that person gets swarmed, and maybe it's Ryan Guy, maybe it's Ricky or NRG or something like that. They just kind of forget that one of their teammates is alone in the backline, it feels like. And Tread Gaming does not forget that somebody is alone in the backline. And they're more than happy to jump on that person who is alone. So as we get into this third map, I'm really interested to see what Dinks is going to bring to this roster to keep AFMT alive.
Yeah, I would be pleasantly surprised, and I'll put pleasantly as the adjective there, if it is the Wrecking Ball that we saw in the profile picture, just because, I mean, who's playing Wrecking Ball? Like, I could not think of anyone, right? I don't think Dive is going to be the answer into this Tread Gaming squad, right? Their backline, they're just too secure. It's not really something you can dive on all too consistently. But at least here in the spawn rooms, tons of time to switch, so nothing set in stone just yet. But the Malga, it is another brawl option that we don't really consider all too much, but it works really well into the Ramatra. It normally forces the Ramatra swap onto something potentially like either a Zarya, a Malga Mirror, or even something like an Orisa, just try to help survive the power of those miniguns here. But it seems like with the spawn doors opening, both teams are opting into their little situation here. So we're going to actually have the Malga run out of spawn with a Venture instead of a Sojourn for SXJ. And meanwhile, on the other side, AFMT, they are running the ball. Dinks, known for the ball, deciding I can make it work here. And specifically against Malga, it just might come up big.
All right, it's Tread Gaming that gets to the point first here, and especially with Ricky going down so early, it will not be easy for AFMT to take this fight, and it doesn't seem like they will. They're just going to slide out and give the point over to Tread here. Whoa,
yeah.
Okay, energy.
Ooh. Yeah, but that's the thing, right? You always got to rely on this DPS line from AFMT. As long as they're up, a fight is winnable. That's the way you got to think about it.
All right, Slam comes through from Dinks, gets a little bit of damage out there, but not going to find anything in the way of follow-up here. Divine able to backhand NRG there, put down the Sojourn here. And as Akaza and Dinks going to work in this backline, take down both supports there. Divine is like, where is everybody? Where'd they all go? And, SXJ going to bury themselves under this carpet and try and contest the point, but it will end up going over to AFMT.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? The dive simply just has to outpace Tread Gaming, right? You can't let the Malga close the distance. You can't let them, really realize what's happening. Same with the Venture here. There's just no ability. Tank's showing off some of those Wrecking Ball changes. If you didn't know, you can kind of grapple for an infinite amount of time now, as long as you don't enter that fiery charged up form here. So just being able to hang on the ceiling and just sort of wait for wherever Tread Gaming wants to go to get another massive slam and potentially build up to the minefield.
Waiting like a chandelier in the top, gonna slam down, not find a lot of damage, frankly. Maybe a little bit on the Tekno, but nothing else in the way of damage for the Wrecking Ball. Now the Kitsune Rush out from Tekno. Ricky does not have one to respond with. The point will go over to Tread as Dinks is booped away, and they're just going to wait for this Kitsune Rush to roll away.
Yeah, beautiful disengage, and they're going to be able to get back in here. And now, even with a Pulse Bomb in tow, they might be able to just win this fight this way.
All right, NRG throws out the overclock. The response is the sound barrier. Trades abound for these two teams. Dinks finds two here. The overclock not going to find a whole lot of damage, but it did get that sound barrier out of Captain Prash. There's somebody up there. I didn't quite see who it was. I guess it was SXJ that was up there on that top part. And it's just this Maga left alone and cage fight thrown out. It happened.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the confidence in throwing out the cage fight in a 1v3 situation is just crazy. But this should be AFMT actually securing market here. Tread Gaming, they just don't have anybody ready to re-engage. So now, with that one going their way, Tempo being unlocked, Tread Gaming, they actually make some swap-ups here. Divine over to the Cassidy now to try to rein in some of this dive, as well as Gooshway Fan onto the Winston, trying to keep up in tempo and pace with the dive coming out from AFMT, just in better ways than the Malga ever could.
All right, Temple is our next location as Gooshway Fan tries to dive in here, doing the namesake proud, hopefully, for Tread Gaming, as the Deadeye going to come out from Divine, maybe find a little bit of damage as the backup comes in from AFMT. Will find something in the Pulse Bomb. Will find a lot of damage on a Gooshway Fan, and the follow-up is great to take down the Winston. The tanks are both gone, though, in this fight. As you see, it looks like Tread will be the ones to back up here.
Yeah, they lost SXJ as well here, so now that Venture over to the Tracer. And this is, again, just more of what you expect, right? That Venture, it's harder to get value. You're getting outpaced, so you're over to the Tracer now. But already in with a Kitsune.
Dokano throws out the Kitsune Rush, and you see they tried to clear it with the minefield from Dinks, but okay! Try is not the word I would say fits that, as Dinks throws Tekuno right into the minefield. no chance to respond there, and AFMT are going to hold on here. They're crossing 50.
Yeah, and I gotta give AFMT some credit here. Absolutely, I definitely did not have a ton of faith in the Wrecking Ball look as Akaza just hunts down a Cassidy. No big deal, but they're playing at such a faster pace, not just because of Wrecking Ball, but just in general their synergy looks better and things like that, and it's really giving them an edge in a lot of these fights.
Divine has gone over to that Sombra to try and deal with Dinks, and I really don't blame him. They know where this Wrecking Ball is chilling at by the bell. You see Divine looking up as Pulse Bomb comes out. Not going to quite find a target, but it's Captain Prash! Just Ajaxed in this series. Dinks and NRG. Dinks for 3. This time it's Dinks in the kill feed and not NRG and Akaza all the time as... the certified CGL Ajax from Captain Prash.
Yeah, it's never fun when you do that. You see the typing in the chat, simply because Captain Prash been a bit of a typer this match, so it's a very interesting one to have Ajax there, maybe a bit humbling. And now with 2 points secured for AFMT here, they're already set up here in the Palace, and again, it's the same exact way. Nobody realized that the Wrecking Ball is just above them.
Slam comes through. They have the minefield ready to go. Not going to throw it out for Dinks just yet, but the Kitsune Rush will be thrown out to try and ward off the attack of Tread Gaming. And, I mean, so much damage being done by everyone on AFMT. And with Gooshway Fan not being able to, or not choosing not to pop the Primal Rage, the point's going to go over to AFMT to begin with.
Yeah, and this could be the last point here on Flashpoint. AFMT, they're looking in a solid position, right? They're going to have the sound barrier to help sustain through whatever they end up, using it for, right? Whether it's the Primal Rage, maybe trying to save somebody who gets pulse bombed or something of that nature, as well as Akaza, having another pulse bomb online here. As long as Takuno doesn't get a good healing Suzu onto them, I mean, the pulse bomb should come up big.
All right. Jump in is going to come through from Gooshway Fan on point. But hey, look who's in the kill feed getting that first blood of the fight. It's NRG because, of course, it's NRG. Gooshway Fan trying so damn hard to find this damage. The Kitsune Rush comes out from Tekino. The response is a Rhine Guy's sound barrier. They have a couple of ultimates still in the wings for AFMT as well as Tread. 3-3 here as the juggles continue to come through, but it took so much time to get NRG down, and finally, because NRG has gone down, it will be Tread taking over.
Yeah, but this is going to be final fight, territory. AFMT just needs one fight to win out on the Palace here, and NRG having that overclock with no support ult in sight for Tread Gaming is terrifying. I feel like, it's going to have to be a lot of kite material. They might even have to give up point and re-engage it after the fact, because standing in the face of that overclock is just, a fool's move.
Okay, the overclock from NRG comes after the death of Rhine Guy, unfortunately for AFMT. Pulse Bomb is out as the recall has had to be forced by Akaza. Did get stuck there as NRG is able to find Captain Prash, so there will be a trade of Lucio's here, and that's going to favor AFMT with where the spawn is every single time. Dink slides in, gets some damage with a slam as AFMT are playing patient, waiting for their Lucio, who has returned to engage. Captain Prash will be returning to this fight very, very soon. Dinks will not, though. 95% now for Tread Gaming. As NRG evens up the score with a pick onto SXJ. Kitsune Rush to try and put this map away right here, right and now. Gooshway Fan taking so much damage. 150 HP for the Winston. She stays alive. Pulse Bomb is out from Akaza, not going to find a target. Now the Deadeye from Divine trying to find something, trying to ward off the damage. Dinks is going to be able to slide away. No kills from the Deadeye here. The cleanse is forced out by the slam of Dinks. Overtime refuses to keep going. It doesn't stop. Divine able to drop NRG. SXJ drops Dinks. Finally, Tread Gaming has some footing here on Survasa.
Yeah, and what's amazing about it is they don't have to over-invest, right? There was a lot of kiting that came out from AFMT. I was worried that, they might have to even throw further ults in, but Tread Gaming, they keep a nice bank of ultimates here. That way they don't lose momentum in that category here. They actually have a bit of an advantage here as we're heading on over to Ruins, but positioning will be taken first by AFMT. They're able to get here first just because the spawns are on their side of the map, but AFMT, they're already ready, already under pressure here, taking a fight.
SXJ does not find a target, but it's a massive Primal Rage from Gushwei Fan, sends NRG flying into the water there. Not going to be able to get away from this angry monkey. Gushwei Fan, it confirms another kill onto Ryan Guy, and Tread Gaming will take the first flip here on Ruins.
That was a beautiful Primal. I expected to see so many more in the kill feed, but there was a TP, there was some recalls. Everything was there to survive it, but hey, you got the first point cap down, and now it's just, AFMT having to find a way to respond, right? They have both their DPS ult as well as another minefield, sure, but you don't want to throw all of this in just to capping the point, right? You want to be able to hold something to continue the point progress and take for future fights.
Minefield's out to start this fight. Clear off the point for AFMT. Try and ward them off. The flip might come through here soon, especially with NRG finding the pick on the Captain Prash. Flip will come through for AFMT. They cannot push without their Lucio, and Gushwei Van decides that that's not the case at all. Took a lot of damage. Divine very, very low as SXJ is trying to find something here, but dang!
Dinks, that's it. That's the tweet. Bailey, go ahead, put that one up on the socials.
INKS, period.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's crazy what this Wrecking Ball is doing. And again, it's that confidence, right? Coming in, being able to just say, screw it, we're going to just go through and do what we want. Time and again, AFMT, they're playing, it at the same tempo as this ball. It's just a go, 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 not giving Tread room to breathe.
All right, Dinks has to get out here. Not quite going to be able to find a pick here as the Deadeye is the response to the Kitsune Rush. Dinks hitting a little bit of a cool little tech there to get up over that high ground. Finds a little bit of damage, but nothing crazy. Pulse Bomb came out from SXJ. Did not find a target. Neither did the Overclock, for that matter, from NRG. Now the only ultimate left on this field is going to be Ryan Guy's Sound Barrier, but they will not use it here, especially with Dinks and Akaza going down. This will be a disengage, but they only need one more fight.
Yeah, and, if Tread Gaming, they can find a pick early, right? If they can find out Ryan Guy somewhere, potentially even Akaza, it really can spell the end for this point here and send us to that fifth and final Flashpoint point. But, there's going to more than likely than not be a touch for AFMT, right? They can get the Wrecking Ball or the Tracer onto that objective here as you're seeing the triple blink from Akaza.
All right, 99% for both of these teams as Dinks slides in, almost has the minefield ready to go. Sound Barrier is in from Ryan Guy. Hits all 5. Ryan Guy, though, very, very low. The Primal Rage being thrown in, but Dinks cannot use the minefield. Dinks can't throw out the minefield, and everybody is going down because of it. The area is not clear, and AFMT will be. Tread Gaming are going to take... we're going to map 0.5.
0.5 as a pause is being called in the chat here. Just waiting for the pause to come through. There it goes. And yeah, bit of an ill-timed thing, but such an intense situation that we have on our hands here, right? We have to remember, Tread, they're on match point, right? So now being able to have a mini reverse sweep occur in this Flashpoint map, AFMT, they have to lock back in. They have to find that magic they were showing on Market to really be able to secure this map to keep their hopes alive. But right now, Tread Gaming, they've been able to weather the storm. They've been able to sort of kite these ultimates that AFMT have been throwing at them almost perfectly. And again, you're just seeing this sort of powerhouse come out from, I would say specifically Gushwei Fan, right? These primals have been on point. The Winston's positioning is always where it needs to be. It really is just so unbelievably crazy here.
So the last point is going to be Garden. as this is 0.5. Few ultimates in the wings for both of these teams here. Obviously, a bit of an advantage goes to Tread Gaming in that department as we get into the final point of Suravasa. Dinks is going to slam down into Tread. I mean, with this Kitsune Rush, there's nothing else that AFMT can do. They just got to play it safe or get out or die.
Yeah, and that's a huge first cap. We have to remember, the slightest of spawn advantage is going to be on AFMT's, or Tread Gaming rather, side, right? Because this is just their initial side of the map here. So, I think it's like a few meters distance, but that few meters can matter a lot in Flashpoint, right? Especially with resecuring here. AFMT, they're really only going to have 2 proper fights at this, but that's a good way to start it out.
Yep, Akaza gets the better of SXJ to begin this fight here. Dinks taking so much damage. I mean, has to pop the adaptive shields. Divine getting pressured by Akaza, but it will be Captain Prash that goes down to Akaza here, as the flip will go over to AFMT.
Yep, and now there's going to be some good cleanup, which AFMT needs desperately, right, to continue building this point percentage. And AFMT, they have a solid ult advantage, right? They have the Kitsune Takuno about halfway there, as well as, just that sound barrier, slight advantage in favor for Ryan Guy here. But if we're going to be heading towards a heavy ult fight for both of these teams, right, AFMT, they can't afford to overinvest because they have to, be able to have something in the tank for what could be their final fight.
Alright, Dinks comes out, uses the minefield there to try and control as much space as possible, but what gets controlled is the health pool of Dinks, who goes down. Pulse Bomb onto Divine. Would have survived, but the cleanse came through anyway. Does find a little bit of damage. Sound barrier out from Ryan Guy as they await Dinks' return to the fight. The Primal Rage from Gushui Fan. Gonna find a lot of damage. They're trying to take down NRG. Not quite able to do so as Dinks has returned to the fight. Slam comes through from Dinks. The Kitsune Rush and the sound barrier are thrown out by Tread Gaming. AFMT, they need one more fight, and that was fine. They'll take that loss there as they got everything out of Tread.
Yeah, but they also gave everything in return, right? Both these tracers are the closest thing to an ult, both pulse bombs trying to build closer, right? Obviously, AFMT is going to have that pressure of making sure a touch comes through on the point. That's why you're seeing Tread play so far forward here, just trying to create zoning pressure as we enter these last few percent. Already a cause of 1 HP.
Yep, the touch is going to come through, but NRG opens it up onto SXJ. The pressure in the backline is gone for Tread Gaming. The point is being pressured by Dinks right now as everybody else on the side of AFMT is stuck in the backline. 98, 99%, and they don't touch. They don't think they have to. They think they've got time, but you've got none. AFMT is still alive in this series.
AFMT is still alive. Dinks definitely came up big on the ball, but when I say by the skin of their teeth, I am talking they were... Like, a knife's edge doesn't even begin to, cut it, right? It's just that close between these teams on that map, and it really comes down to, minuscule little plays, like NRG getting that pick at that last fight. We take a look at our stat card. I mean, the stats, for the most part, they reflect each other, right? Everybody is putting in that around that same level of value here. I mean, obviously the biggest standout is probably onto Dinks with 14 final blows and Akaza with 30 elims to their name.
I'm looking at SXJ right now, who died 12 times. It did kind of feel like SXJ got caught out a lot, especially early on. It got a little bit better as the map went on, but it did feel like SXJ was caught out by NRG and Akaza for a lot of that map. And then obviously SXJ was the one that went down that kind of broke the dam for AFMT to win that map. So, SXJ's been playing well all series, so that it's not really like a super big deal right now. So moving into the next map, which is going to be Push. We do have a comparison also here between Ryan Guy and Captain Prash on Lucio. Pretty even overall. A little more damage, a little more healing from Prash. Prash got the better of just about everything here, but it's not like it was an absolute blowout, right?
Well, yeah, and I think the biggest thing to highlight is the elim difference, right? Even though their, damage and healing is so similar, that elim difference, what that should tell you at home if you're looking at this, means that Captain Prash was helping out the team, right? Whether it was probably SXJ or Divine, putting in damage somewhere, just firing those extra few Lucio donuts, can help secure elimination sometimes, right? And that's sort of the heads up you need from your Lucio. I mean, I feel for any and all Lucio players in these sorts of metas, right? There's so much you have to juggle already, but then adding yourself in almost as an extra damage dealer to, rack up those elims and, almost be like an extra converging part of a dive, right? Just adding that layer on top is really what can separate, the good Lucios from the greats.
Yeah, it's some great follow up from Prash, but I mean that map I do think was on Dinks, right? And Dinks will stay in this lineup here as we move into Coliseo, which is going to be map number 4. I'm interested to see, it's not exactly the most traditional dive map of all time right here on Coliseo, but Dinks was such a game changer coming in here for AFMT that I wouldn't be surprised if the Wrecking Ball was still the play, because the Wrecking Ball for AFMT meant that they had all gas, no brakes, and it's really, really hard to keep up with a team that is just playing with the reckless abandon that AFMT was there on Suravasa. And obviously the adaptation was great from Tread throughout that map on Suravasa, but it was AFMT finally finding their footing with that all gas, no brakes Wrecking Ball comp. So I wouldn't be surprised as we get into Coliseo to see that's what Dinks is still going to be playing.
Yeah, even though, Wrecking Ball probably not the most favored thing here on Coliseo, right? I wouldn't necessarily favor it on any of the push maps here, so it really is going to take a lot for Dinks to come out and continue to find that value, especially now that Tread Gaming, like Wrecking Ball, I wouldn't say it's like a gimmick character or anything of that nature, but there certainly are levels to it, right? And Tread Gaming, they are now aware, okay, we are against a Wrecking Ball player. They were figuring it out, right? As we went through Suravasa, they were getting better at adapting and making sure Dinks wasn't getting the insane value that you were seeing from those first few rounds. But, there's still an extra layer of adaptation that needs to come through in making sure to really shut it down, right? Whether it's the Cassidy focus firing a bit more, or maybe even that Somber Prick we saw for a leading moment here. But as we get started into Coliseo here, Tread Gaming, they're actually going to opt into the Sigma look. No brawl on the table right now. Ramatra would just get outpaced. So you're going to see Gushway Fan on the Sigma simply to sort of play the space almost, and sort of lure the Wrecking Ball in and then sort of strike with the accretion.
All right, here we go. The brawl for this first little bit of push. Still a little bit of a poke duel right now, as both teams are just trying to chill out, waiting for something to happen. The slam comes through from Dinks, gets a little bit of pressure put on it to the Rodent. Somebody gets stuck and hindered by Divine there, but nothing that is going to ward off AFMT for a very, very long time, as Divine continues to put out some really, really good shots with this revolver. Slam going to come through from Dinks, who gets hindered here, able to not do anything really, just kind of explodes, and now AFMT have no way to engage.
Yeah, and it's a perfect gameplay from Tread. They're all playing on top of each other now, so even when that ball comes through, slams in, right, the entirety of Tread Gaming can turn and just simply remove the Wrecking Ball from the equation here. It's one of the reasons that slowing down the game, can be an answer when a team is playing such a fast-paced composition against you. They're, showing exactly why it can work.
All right, Ricky on the Ana now, actually. So this will be an interesting pick here, as the Wrecking Ball just continues to be annoying, but not much else at the moment. Especially with Akaza just getting folded by Divine here. There's really just nothing that AFMT is doing right now that is scaring Tread, really. NRG able to take out the Immortality Field, but it's not looking great right now as the point continues to move towards the checkpoint.
Yeah, and you're seeing just more slams and things of that nature come through. You see the Ana come up because it's to attempt to punish Tread Gaming for playing so grouped on top of each other, right? It's to try to help that Wrecking Ball with the engages and things of that nature, but we're heading towards a pretty heavy ult fight here, but Divine's already got the first pick.
So it will be a trade. Tekno goes down. A big sleep there on the Divine means that Ricky can clean that up. Now SXJ, they know that the Tracer doesn't have the recall, but the healing is going to come through eventually. That passive healing, a lot of damage being put into SXJ at the moment. Now getting healed finally by Captain Prash. Mana boost onto Akaza. Not a fun sight for anybody in any series ever, frankly. They're able to get out with their lives as AFMT will lock up their first fight.
Yeah, they finally get a fight win here and get some momentum building on the board. They deny the checkpoint, but it was just shy of it here as Tread Gaming. They're continuing to hold the space. They definitely are going to be able to get everybody back and sort of fight on top of the objective again here in the tunnel phase. And, now it's going to be AFMT with another engage.
The minefields come out from Dinks here early. You know Dinks wants to throw somebody into this minefield as the pressure from Akaza into the back of the Sigma. Akaza able to get out alive there pretty comfortably. The ultimate advantage is heavily in the favor of Tread as they push back into AFMT territory. Gravitic Flux is out. Not going to find a target. Goes wide. Sound barrier out from Ryan Guy. Does not know that the ultimate missed, it would seem. Now Tekno, they know that this Baptiste doesn't have an immortality field yet. They just leave them alone. Gooseray Fan is able to take down energy, and finally Tekno goes down, and AFMT will begin their push properly here on Colosseo now.
Yeah, finally they'll be getting out of the tunnel, but AFMT, they expended everything in the kitchen sink. They're going to be close to a Bob coming out from NRG, but that's about it. Meanwhile, Tread Gaming, they have the Deadeye. They can put that through the amplification matrix or just use those ults separately to create, individual amounts of space. It really just kind of depends on what their fight plan here is, because right now they have the lead. They have the space being held right now. It's just all in their favor.
Half the distance now for AFMT, 32 to 64 at the moment. The cooldowns are being used left and right from AFMT at the moment, just trying their damnedest to stay alive here, and that's a great way to start it. That is not a great way to continue it, though. Bob going to come out from NRG. Now you see Akaza with a great pulse bomb onto Tekno, and Bob was able to deny so much space. He can't get up that staircase, so Bob's guarding it, and AFMT will be able to damn near even up the score.
Yeah, and they're taking these fights in such an interesting way where, you saw Tread Gaming, they had to focus on the objective, where AFMT, they're more than happy to leave Akaza down there, that way their bot doesn't lose progress, but then wrapping around, taking the high ground control away, it really is putting them at such an advantage.
Alright, the Deadeye comes out, no pulse bomb connection here for SXJ, but Akaza will find the pulse pistols connected, and 0.02 meters is the separation here between these two teams. NRG goes down to a headshot from Divine, and their lead will not be grabbed from AFMT here just yet, and Tread Gaming will take this bot back.
Yeah. And, just shy of the lead as well here. So AFMT, it is going to be a bit of a battle back. Now with Tread Gaming onto the Diva, though, I mean, you're seeing just the more and more adaptations, right? Captain Prash has been on the break for a bit, helping Tekuno stay alive. And, keeping that Diva just sort of almost like a defense matrix, just sort of stopping NRG and Akaza from doing whatever they want here. It's almost like a mother keeping everybody in control, like a bad parent or something.
Alright, slam not going to come through. Pulse bomb does not find a target for Akaza. Now the sound barrier will enter the fray or not the sound barrier, but rather the rally from Captain Prash will enter the fight. No sound barriers to be seen just yet. Divine is trying to stay alive on a fire for a little bit. Oh my god, Divine! 2 shots and NRG is out of there. They're trying to trade out Divine, who was antied up, will go down. It's the final blow of Akaza here. Good sleep onto Gooseray Fan. Should keep Ricky alive for a little bit anyway, I guess, but no, not for very long, as the point will be captured by Tread Gaming.
Yeah, and now they have the checkpoint going. Those forward spawns are engaged, and they're going to be getting more and more meters put onto their lead here. It's going to cause an insane battle back for AFMT here. As the amplification matrix just right now being used to create space and keep everybody nice and safe on the side of Tread Gaming.
That I have from Divine does not find anything. Just going to get canceled immediately. A massive anti by Ricky there as Divine! My god, the man's on a tear! 3 for
PC.
Divine! Stays alive and my god, does not want to give it up. 4 for Divine as the point continues to roll for Tread.
I mean, that's ridiculous, right? It like, we're watching it so we can prove it's not aimbot, but my goodness, just being able to land 2 quick headshots and remove people from the fight. I mean, this is why Cassidy has seen such a good uptick, in pick rates lately. There's been so many good buffs to the character, and Divine's exemplifying it perfectly.
Divine backs up, did get it antied. Gushray fan eats the Akaza pulse bomb and Thinks goes down. So Tread Gaming right now, they gave up a little bit of space earlier on in this map, but AFMT since then, they just haven't been able to find anything. No cracks in the armor, no nothing.
Yeah, and so now heading towards their spawn room here, potential full cap coming in for Tread Gaming. They have Diva Bomb, they have all these ultimates, so even being down Divine, I mean, they have all the momentum in their favor. AFMT, it's going to be a tough battle.
Pulse Bomb did land, but no final blow there as Tekano and Gushray Fan were in there and doing so much damage. Ricky from the high ground, not going to be able to stay alive. Yeah, very, very close to being a full capture here on Coliseo. The job is done for Tread Gaming. They will fully capture on Coliseo, and they're going to move on to the lower finals of CGL Season 13. They've got a date one more time with Everfrost Esports.
Yeah, and I mean, the lower bracket run is almost complete. AFMT, the first team in lower bracket to not, lose every single map to them, but at the end of the day, I mean, this Tread Gaming squad, especially with Divine having, pop-off moments like that, I mean, that was just ridiculous. Those headshots coming in, I don't know how anyone's supposed to play against that.
Yeah, disgusting game there from Divine specifically, but everybody stepped up from Tread Gaming. That wasn't a weak spot on Coliseo. SXJ heard what we said, or what I said rather, about the deaths and was just like, hey, I got you. You're chill. Had a 5 KD on this point, or on this map. So yeah, very, very strong performance there. I mean, strong performance. It was a full capture. That's not easy, right? So as we get a quick look at the comparison between Energy and Divine here, something doesn't seem quite right about those
I think
stats.
this is just Cassidy.
Okay, so this is as Cassidy, I believe, specifically. And there is Cassidy and Ash here. I mean, Divine straight up just was the better player in that hit scan duel. It had been NRG for the entire series up until Coliseo, in my opinion, but Divine kind of took it up to the next level there on Coliseo. I mean, 13 final blows in 10 minutes is crazy, frankly. I mean, he had double the final blows of anybody else on Tread. So that is crazy. But yeah, I mean, dominant way to finish off the map, and now they move on to face off against Everfrost in the lower finals. Yeah,
I mean, AFMT, you got your win over in NA, but here in EU, it just wasn't as easy for you. And, again, just you said it perfectly as we take a look over at our bracket. We had so many grand finals yesterday, but this bracket still has two more matches in it now, including that grand finals. Everfrost and Tread Gaming are going to go head to head. Both of them want their revenge match against Pot Friend in that grand finals. Both sent down here by Pot Friend. It really shows just how great this side of the bracket has been, how great this entire EU bracket has been. Really, I mean,
It's
so
been the
many great.
closest.
Yeah, it's been one of the closest brackets. I really feel like, of the four, of these four teams, right? I could have seen AFMT winning this match. I could see Tread Gaming getting revenge. I could see Pot Friend winning it. I could see, like, every single team has the potential to win it here, right? It's not some overbearing, I'm dominant, I'm going to beat everybody else sort of mentality going on here. And, that Everfrost game and that grand finals, whenever they come about, I mean, just make sure you're following the CGL page here on Twitch and YouTube, because, like, those are going to be matches that you do not want to miss.
For sure. And speaking of matches you do not want to miss, we've got one more match tonight. It's going to be another PC versus console matchup that I think could be really, really cool. Red Team versus Nexus in the winners final of the PCNA open bracket. Should be a lot of fun there. And Red Team, they didn't get to win the console bracket, so now they're trying to take their revenge out on the PC side. So that should be a really, really fun matchup to decide who moves on to the grand finals and who falls to play Valentine in the lower finals. So yeah, keep an eye on that notifications for CGL. Should be a lot of fun. And the playoffs, they're coming to a close here very, very soon. Just a few more grand finals left to get out. Yeah, been a great season. We're going to finish strong. So thank you all for watching, and we hope to see y'all in the next couple of matches.